Communication Air.
Welcome to episode 28 of the Communication Air podcast. I don't say the whole long thing that Cheesy says every week, but this is the community patch notes episode of What is a Cozy Game? And we have a very special guest for this because they are the experts in cozy games, I think. Well, welcome, Lockleth. How's
You seem so sure of yourself.
Well, Cheesy told me that you were, so that's what I'm going with.
I mean, I don't even feel like I am, so sure.
Really? Why?
Yeah,
Why
I
do you
don't
say
know.
that?
I don't know, because I feel like cozy is such a new term for this, or at least in this space. So it's just, I don't know. There's some that are doing it more and like doing it better, if that makes sense, more aesthetic than I am. Yes, I have all these squishmallows, but I don't have an aesthetic. It's just vibes.
That's
So I
that's
don't-
an aesthetic, right? Those Squishmallows is like
Is it?
Yeah.
Seems like a hindrance. Like they're gonna collapse on top of me at some point.
do they come now? Do they come alive?
It does kind of
Yeah.
look like that.
Yeah.
That would be terrifying, especially the ones that have the white with the like pupil in the middle. Like that would, if Avery was standing over my bed at night, I would be terrified.
What's your rarest one?
I don't know. I don't really pay much attention to the ones that I buy. It's just like, is it cute? Cool. I think some of the hot commodity ones are probably like the Averys, and then you can't see them, they're out of frame, but all my Bigfoot Squishmallows are up here. So I think
So-
popularity, those ones are.
So for you, is it like you know which ones you want to buy, or is it you're out in the wild and you see a Squishmallow and you just buy it?
If I made a list, Cheesy, I would spend all of my money all the time. So I don't do that. They call them DISOs or ISOs, so desperately in search of or in search of.
Mm, mhm.
And I don't make those types of lists because then I already spend, clearly, I've already spent too much money on these. I don't need to spend more money by making lists. So it's really, what do I see out in the wild that I think is cute? And I'm just like, sure.
Well, real quick before we get into the topic at hand and server maintenance, do you want to talk about what you did this week with Extra Life?
Yes,
And,
yes.
and just like everything that you went through, because it was a whole 24-hour thing, right?
Yeah, and I was not there in person, but I was there in spirit. I'm just kidding. I was there in the chat the entire time, and I was helping on like the back end, like keeping track of like who the winners were and what they won. The kind of the notes person in a way for the team.
Mm-hmm.
But I was awake for most of the 24 hours that they did for Extra Life this past weekend. It was wild to see. Like I was more involved this year than last year because last year Beth and I both had just joined.
Mhm.
And so we both were doing it from home, but more so just kind of there. They did a lot more planning and things this year than they did last year. So Beth did like a whole he scripted an entire D&D playthrough that Sean and Amanda and Seth's wife were involved in. So that's one of the podcasts. I think it's one of the patron podcasts as well. So like there was a lot more involved in planning this year than last year. But we raised over, I think, $8,600 of our $10,000 goal.
That's
So far,
incredible.
That is incredible. That is
I think we
incredible.
can still raise more. I think last year we had till the end of the year. I don't know if that's still the case, but we can still raise money even though the streamathon, I guess, is over.
Mhm.
But it was so much fun to just be even on this side of things, to chat with everyone, to make sure we're sharing our links. And even I did a little bit of the social media too during the day because I was awake during some of those hours.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was very interesting to kind of be more involved with it this year, but it was so much fun. I obviously had all the FOMO, but so maybe next year we'll see. But it was exciting. There was a lot of energy involved with it, and we just have such a great community, and like even partnered with like other groups like Save the Game Media, who were also doing, we were all under the same umbrella. We each had our own fundraisers going on, but we were all under the Phoenix Overdrive like umbrella. So it's nice to like all like have a hand in it at some point or in some way. But Carpool had the 8600 all on our little own, which is
That's
nice.
awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. Do you mind real quick just saying what Extra Life is for our listeners, and if they want to donate, where they can?
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, you had to ask me high on the spot. Hang on, let me pull up the actual website,
Good
or I will get
job,
it wrong.
Cheesy.
So it's like extralife.org slash, I think, participant slash Phoenix Overdrive slash Carpool Gaming Live. I'm
We'll
pretty
add the
sure.
link in the
Yeah.
show
Yeah,
notes.
yeah.
I'll
We'll
share it
get
with
the
you.
link.
It'll be in the notes, but it's with Extra Life, and it's all through it's all part of the Children's Miracle Network hospitals, or the Stollery hospitals. And so we raised money for that. We did ours on behalf of the Miles family. In fact, I'm looking at our updated amount right now, and we're at $9,396.
Nice.
Is that right?
That's
No, no,
very
no, no,
close.
no. No, 86,000. 8,600, sorry, 8,600. 8,643. So we are just a little bit over than the last time I saw it. Our next milestone was at 9,300, so I got confused.
Is that when Sean has to change his name to Jar Jar Binks or something? Is that what that goal is?
I think that's the last goal. So if we reach $10,000, yes, Sean Capri has to change his Twitter name or X name to Sean Jar Jar Binks Capri for 6 months.
Oh God, we got to get it there.
Yeah, we got to get there. So
But if
anybody
we-
listening, I know we have a lot of crossover Shy Guys out there. Thanks, Shy Guy. And we do have a lot of crossover with the Carpool Gaming community, and you're doing great stuff over there. And we had Seth on. He was one of our first guests. So
Oh, on this show?
Yeah, on this show,
I've
yeah.
started listening to that the other day, that episode.
I forget what we were talking about. I don't know.
Nostalgia?
Was
Something
that
No, that-
nostalgia? Was that nostalgia?
That was somebody else. Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh,
But
was
anyway,
AJ.
I just
Yeah.
think it's incredible what you all have done, and like you definitely have made a lot of people's holiday and year probably, and it's I don't know. There's not really any kind of words to describe what you guys have done for the gaming community, but also just those who are in need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's really
and
special.
It was all on behalf of the Miles, who's Marcus and Lindsay O'Neill and their son Miles,
Mhm.
who's always struggled with issues, has to have several surgeries, and always has to go in, and always has had, medical issues. And so he's always gone through a lot, but with a smile on his face, from what Marcus has always told us and what we see in pictures. And he's just the cutest little boy. And we just wanted to do it on behalf of him for the second year in a row. So it's nice to do that, and always keep that in mind too, that it's for the kids at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So if any of you that are listening want to donate, we'll put it in our show notes. There will be a link, and
A proper link.
yes, yeah, we'll figure out what it is, and you'll be able to donate there. But Johnny, you want to move on to server maintenance?
Sure. So make sure, as always, leave 5-star reviews on Apple and Spotify. I don't think we got any new ones, but I think you said Scrubicius gave us a review on Discord.
Yeah, well, so it's he sent it to me through Discord, but it was on Apple on July 26th, and I looked to see if we missed it, and we didn't miss it. It just didn't come through. So I don't know what happened there, but Scrubicius said communication error with Cheesy and John Evo is an absolute delight for any Nintendo enthusiast, but its appeal reaches far beyond that. The hosts' fun and entertaining banter, coupled with their somewhat contrary discussions, keep the episodes engaging and enjoyable throughout. While its primary focus is on Nintendo enthusiasts, the subjects covered are diverse enough to cater to gamers in general. As a devoted listener, I find this podcast to be a top-notch choice for my daily commute, as it keeps me thoroughly entertained and informed about all things gaming. One standout feature is their follow-up episodes for each topic, which provides valuable insights and further exploration of the subjects discussed. However, my only critique is that it would be fantastic if the host considered involving the audience more actively by bringing them live on the show during the follow-up episodes. This would offer a chance for real listeners of the show to share their valid opinions and create a more interactive and inclusive experience. Nevertheless, Communication Error remains as an exceptional podcast that any gaming enthusiast should tune into for engaging discussions and enjoyable listening experience. So thank you so much for that 5-star review, Scrubicius.
I think
Sorry.
it's because it was like a novel, and Apple might not allow a novel.
Is that true?
Yeah, and only 4 months late. That's fine. We'll take that critique into consideration and try to get the audience involved more.
Yeah.
We did have some good conversations and stuff going on in the Discord this week. So make sure you join the Discord. That's in the show note. That's in the show notes as well. Follow us on all our socials. And check out the Patreon. Thanks, Jailer, Mikey, and Jeff for your continued support. But let's get into the topic at hand. What is a cozy game? Lockleth. Well, actually, no, wait, sorry. I always forget the initial thing I asked the guest. I gotta ask the guest every single time. We were told that you probably don't care about this, but you gotta ask anyway. Super Mario World or Super Mario Bros. 3?
I don't know. I guess I'll just pick one. I guess Super Mario World. Sure.
No, you picked the
great
wrong
choice.
one.
Great choice. No, you picked the right one. Is that because you just haven't played them?
If any, it was a smidge that of a time of that's long forgotten. Like it's so long ago, or I haven't played it. Like I couldn't even tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
There's been so many different Mario games, and that's not something that I always play when the newest one comes out.
Mhm.
Wonder is one that's on my list. I just don't have the funds to buy it right now. Clearly.
Pointing at all your squishmallows.
Yeah, all my squish. But
Priorities.
yeah, exactly. But so Mario RPG, I'm probably not gonna get that one, but Super Mario Wonder,
Mhm.
I will probably get that one. So I pick and choose which ones I want.
Yeah.
It is a
play.
fantastic game. I enjoyed it. I just wish there was more.
Yeah.
So
I heard you're squeezing every ounce of content out of that game.
yeah. I'm making invisibility. I need to continue my invisibility run, and then I tried the flower thing, the do it without a wonder flower, but it's literally
do it?
impossible. It's
Okay.
impossible.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
I don't
bummer.
know if I should even put that video out.
Well,
Why
you
not?
should. Yeah.
Yeah.
You made it. That's
Yeah,
it's
true.
impossible. Just be like, I can't do it, but here you go.
Yeah, so that game's really fun, and it's definitely worth checking out, especially if you like Mario games.
Yeah.
But
It just looks more cutesy. I think that's why too. For me, the music and all that looks nicer.
the animations are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The music, well, I guess the music and the rhythm levels is really good, and then the animations of the characters, it's very charming. It's a very charming game.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of charming games, maybe cozy games go along with that. But in your own words, what do you think a cozy game is?
Well, because you also
So-
listened to the episode before, and we want to hear all the notes that you have.
I did. I took notes. I listened to all 53 minutes of the episode. And I think, even though it was more generalized, I think I subscribed to what Johnny said with the Google that you put out there, which was it kind of encompasses farming sims, puzzle games, stuff that maybe has more of a story that you follow along. Maybe it's choice driven, but there's no battles. There's no real detriment. You can choose options to the story that impacts the story, but it's not gonna be super terrible at the end if you don't pick the right options. Like it's kind of light storytelling in a way. Um, but it's all vibes. It's all of a comfort thing. And that's kind of why I have like two lists of games. Like my tier 1 list, I call it, is games you would more so call cozy, and then my tier 2 is more so, I call it cozy, but there is like combat in some of these, or there is more darker theming in some of these. Maybe it's a longer game, like so many hours, versus something that's shorter that might be more cozy because it's, I don't know, it's very widespread, and it is more of a feeling, like y'all said, versus a true genre, because it's really, at the end of the day, is it something that doesn't stress you out too much, because that's kind of where my gauge is. Some of these games will stress me out. Like, I mean, in farming sims, like sometimes your plants die, and that could be a little stressful.
Right.
Or
Well, now we need to know what are your tier 1 games.
well, top of the list for me is Animal Crossing New Horizons, and that is because, and I counted across my 3 Switches that I've played it on. This is why I have 3 Switches, by the way, because you can only have 1 island per Switch.
Oh,
Yeah, and I'm one of these wild people that decorates a full island, resets, and starts over. So sometimes I'll have 2 islands going at the same time. And so it's nice to have 3 Switches, so you can kind of switch between the different ones.
so do you
And
have
so
3 like developed islands?
I have 2 fully developed right now. One's going to be reset soon because I finished it and I'm done with that project. One of them, I'm still moving items over to my other island, because the island that I'm going to keep forever, my forever island, as I call it, and this is a more recent thing that's happened in the Animal Crossing community, that people are creating an island that they'll keep forever. Because a lot of us, we design it fully, then we reset, and then we start again. But we never have kept a island to do dailies, to 100% it. Like, I've never fully finished a museum. So that's going to be something I'm going to work towards. I finished the fossils, but not fish, not bugs. That's something that I can work towards and fully finish. There's so many Nook miles you can earn. A lot of grinding, essentially. I feel like cozy gaming and grinding kind of go hand in hand in that regard.
Now, I think you commented on the time traveling. Do you time travel in Animal
Oh, of
Crossing?
course. Of course. 100%. I did it when I first started. So 2020, I probably didn't for that whole year. And then, you know, you do it once and then, all hell breaks loose. You might as well continue. I can't finish my islands as quickly as I do without doing that. So
Exactly. I can't imagine managing 3 islands not time traveling.
it is a task, and I totaled up the hours spent across 3 Switches, and it's about 2,500 hours.
Oh my
Ow.
goodness. You definitely got your
So-
money's worth out of that.
I've probably bought the game twice, because one of them, 2 of the Switches share a cartridge. So that's my one workaround. They're on 2 different Nintendo accounts, so they are still 2 separate islands, but they can't visit each other because I can't have the same cartridge in both Switches, if that makes sense. So I've only bought the game twice, but yes, I have almost 2,500 hours.
Why did
I
they
know
design it that way? I don't understand why they designed it the way they did.
I don't know. It's Sean Capri's like biggest qualm with it, and it is such a big issue that I feel like needs to be rectified. They've put out other games, AAA games, whatever, that don't have it set up that way. You can have multiple saves, so I don't know why you can't have multiple islands.
And it's
I
not
feel
even
like it.
it's not even per profile, right? Because it's 1 island per Switch. Like if you have
Yeah.
a profile on that Switch, you have to use that island.
Exactly. So if you have other family members that share all one Switch, they all have to be on the same island. They can't have their own separate, which makes no sense to me.
Does it upset you that there has been more content for Pocket Camp than New Horizons?
Cheesy. Yes and no. I
Oh.
understand why, because of the microtransactions. Like I played a little bit of Pocket Camp, but me knowing myself well enough, I don't have the capability to not spend money on something like that. Like Fall Guys has already gotten several of my coin from the skins that I needed Pusheen as my outfit. Okay, I had to have it. So
I
something
understand. I
like
get it.
something like Pocket Camp, where that is such a big factor in keeping it running. Because if they didn't have that, if they didn't push out so much content all the time where it forces people to basically buy it, because who has the time to earn it? You have to, one way or another, buy it, this item if you want it, because they push out content so often. So, and that's what keeps the app running. Yes, it's free, but that is really where they're making their money. So yeah, I can be upset that they're spending all their time over here. But at the same time, I am completely fine with the content that they did release on Animal Crossing. And I'm just hopeful that they have some learnings for the next rendition. So,
Well,
I've
okay, so
gotten
you have
over it.
that's amazing because I don't think I have. Like I love Animal Crossing, but a lot of it for me was things that were already in New Leaf that it's like, why didn't you just bring all of that into New Horizons at launch and then surprise us? Because like, I'm sorry, having Brewster as a character that is unlocked later in the life cycle of New Horizons, that's disappointing for one. Two, like I get that they're trying to get people excited because like, hey, it's Brewster, he's been missing, so here he is. But it's like, no, Brewster has been in every single game since the beginning. Why wasn't he there in the first place?
They almost made New Horizons a different model, obviously a different model from Pocket Camp. Pocket Camp is new all the time. New Horizons, they wanted things to be slower. So they released things gradually. I think what they did wrong was releasing the 2.0 update and all of those things all at once, because that's where people got everything they needed and then they stopped playing it. I'm still playing it because I'm still enjoying it. I'm still finding new designs of it. I already have a fully fledged another island I wanted to design next, which is why I'm excited to reset another island. That's just how I am, because I like the design aspect of it. But the idea that I think Nintendo had for it was slow spurts. Yes, you've seen this before, but you got to imagine there's so many more people got their hands on a Switch, got their hands on New Horizons because of the pandemonium that occurred, to say the least. More women and more people that don't game purchased a Switch because of Animal Crossing and that whole moment of time of all of us being home. Like everything had to align just so for the Switch to have as many sales as it did, for more people that don't necessarily game are now gaming, which is why I think cozy gaming is a larger thing and is an actual solidified thing now, and has like a more defined term that people like me who aren't really into shooter games have like a place to sit, because we didn't really know where we fit and now we kind of fit in a place. And I think having the advantage of New Horizons coming out when it did and us all wanting one island, maybe several, so we bought several Switches. There's more females and more of us that are wanting to play games now, which did not care about it before. And I think because of that reason, they also probably wanted it to be slow release too. And I think they released the 2.0 all at once the way they did because maybe they just had another project they had to work on. So they just gave it all to
Splatoon
us.
3.
Or maybe they were tired of hearing the complaining that we weren't getting enough. Like, I don't know. Who knows what Nintendo's thinking? None of us will ever know.
It's true. And anytime we think we know,
Yeah.
they
We
zag
don't
the other way, right?
we don't know. We have no
Yeah.
idea. These
So
are all just wild thoughts I've had.
I was rustling around behind me because I thought of something, and I thought, in an alternate reality, or if this game came out now instead of when it did, I think it
Oh,
would be
no.
considered a cozy game, and it would have been
But
better
would it be good?
received. Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. We need justice for Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival.
Yikes.
Do we?
I
I
don't even
never
know why.
played it.
I
I
don't.
never played Amiibo Festival. I didn't. I don't have a Wii U. I have a Wii, but not the Wii U, so I never played that. But I think you're right. I think if that was released now, because of how many cozy gamers are out there, I think more people would probably buy it.
Yeah, justice for Amiibo Festival. I don't think I ever played it. I'm pretty sure I bought this for like $5 just to get the Isabel and
Digby.
Digby
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Amiibo. So yeah, rip Amiibo Festival.
So I do want to hear the rest of your list, but
Yeah.
real quick, where do you think that Animal Crossing will go on the next console? Like, do you think that they have it all figured out now, that knowing how big Animal Crossing is and how much they sold, that one, will they be able to recapture those players because of the pandemic, or will it just continue to grow?
I think they've already captured us. Like they've gotten us now, and
Mhm.
us girlies who are super fans of Animal Crossing now are gonna buy the next one regardless. I'm hopeful that they've learned something, but Nintendo always does what they do. Kind of, I don't know. They always just do what they want to do,
Mhm.
and they always kind of take it back to more of it being more family related. So I understand, like, yes, a lot of us, including myself, do miss the spicy dialogue from the villagers,
Yep.
traumatizing us, Rossetti yelling at us
I'm-
for like resetting. Like, I
Yep.
understand and I miss it too. But yeah,
Well,
kids
the
do
internet will
play,
find a way. The internet will
kids
find a
do
way.
play.
We had the whole Anka thing,
Yeah.
so don't
Kids
search
do
up
play
Anka
it
Animal
though.
Crossing, please.
Kids do play it though, and that's the other thing too, is Nintendo wants to keep it where it's also kid friendly, especially now. And so I think that's why they did away with that. I'm hoping that they would bring that back, but
Mhm.
I don't think that's going to be the case as much as I wish for more dialogue. Like they
Yeah.
really are a dull. There's different personalities, yes, but once you've read through all their dialogue, there's really not much left.
Mhm.
So like that's where designing is more my thing. Where I hope that they expand upon what New Horizons is right now is bring us back to the town. Maybe an island is an addition to that, kind of like
Mm.
what New Leaf was. It New Leaf or was it the original Animal Crossing? I can't even remember now. I think it might have been the original Animal Crossing. That if you have, is it a Game Boy Advance? And you have an island that you can visit, and there's usually one villager there, and that's how you can get coconuts and other things too. Like they've done it before, where you've had a town and you visit an island. I
Mm.
think they need to bring that to the next one. Give us more spaces to design, give us more, I don't know, design options for the stores. Like you can't do anything with them. You can just move them. You can't pick the theming around them to make them match
Yeah.
your island. You can't even move resident services unless you have a spicy switch. So there are things that they could improve upon that, at least on the design aspect, that a lot of us miss. But if they had a town, they could add more shops, add a little bit more heart to it that it doesn't currently have. Like what they did with making the DLC Happy Home
Mhm.
Paradise be a part of your island, like what you earn there also impacts your island, was great. Like I love that. Like Happy Home Designer was my favorite, even more so than New Leaf was my favorite DS game. Because I played New Leaf, but the Happy Home Designer was more of my favorite. So I like that they did something similar, but made it actually impact and help what you do on your island. Because then it seems like, oh man, there's even more to do. There's more expansion here. And I think they need to do even more of that for the next one. But will they? I don't know. Who knows?
We'll see. Nintendo does what they do.
Yeah.
So what's on the rest of your list?
So I feel like I have to mention Stardew Valley because that's another big cozy gamer staple.
Mhm.
I have not gotten past day 14 on Stardew, and I always end up resetting again and starting again.
That's not that long,
Um,
right? Day 14 is
no,
not that.
no, that's like still in spring. I haven't even gotten out of spring yet. I want to reach fall because that's like the best season. I feel like I have to mention Stardew. A lot of the top ones that I put here are definitely more farming related. I understand that actual farming is stressful
We're
and
gonna
not
make that
cozy,
game.
y'all.
We're gonna make that game.
See?
But we are not physically doing the activity, and that's what makes it cozy. Like there's no actual sweat on my
Yeah.
brow. There's no like muscles being like, pushed past their limit. Like no, there's none of that
Uh-huh.
in all of the cute cows and sheep and
Do
managing
you
a
have the?
farm.
Yeah, I guess you don't have to physically. You don't have to actually milk the cow. There's no like mini games to milk the cow. I think you just like
I
get the.
have Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life. You do milk the cow in that
Hmm.
game. So there is some. You can shear the sheep.
Okay.
Yep. So I Drewby. It's cozy for me in a game, but maybe not IRL.
Well, just because you brought up Story of Seasons, we got Logan on YouTube that said Harvest Moon 64 is the best. The pacing, the music, it's a vibe. My wife and I have put probably 500 plus hours into Stardew Valley. A Short Hike is a good one.
Mhm.
Firewatch, I think, is mostly a story, so it could be cozy. Even Minecraft could be one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Minecraft definitely, especially
I don't know. The
if you turn off
Slenderman.
you can turn off monsters and just do creative mode and just build. You don't have to create the blocks yourselves. Like there's so much you can do in Minecraft. I've seen such beautiful like log houses that people have made with like cherry blossom trees like built along the sides. Like it's so pretty what people can do in Minecraft if you like really try. I've never done it myself. But Minecraft, I didn't even think about that one. That would probably be one too. Um, Cozy Grove was another one.
It's
Mm-hmm.
on sale right now. I don't know what
It's
it
a
is,
great
but I know
it's
it's
a
on sale.
great game. It's a great game. It's kind of fetch questy. You're kind of having to search for like things, but you unlock and help out these little like ghost bears, I guess. Each of them's a bear, but they're kind of related to something else. Like one will be like a bear tree, like he looks like he's made of wood and he's got like little leaves that come out of his head.
Hmm.
Like they're all cute little bears and it's very cozy and you like unlock more of the world. Like it starts off very grayscale and as you unlock new things, the world starts getting more colored. And that's every day. Like as you do things, more of the color comes back. And that's a game that you can play, and I would actually advise don't time travel. Like, I think it actually breaks the game if you do. So that's like a nice daily game that you can play to kind of wind down. Um, I've never time travel in it, but I heard it breaks the game. So when I was playing Animal Crossing, it was very difficult to do that and Cozy Grove at the same time because I had to make sure I went back to real time and then remembered where I was at in Animal Crossing, go back, and then play. I had to have constant notes of what day and time I was on for Animal Crossing. It was a
That
struggle.
doesn't seem too cozy.
Uh,
That's the anti-cozy.
it's not it's cozy if you have like something like Notion. Like I use Notion for all of my organization and notes. That's where I'm reading all of my
Mm.
lists off of, and I can access it from my phone. So it's like super easy and chill. It's chill, okay. Fae Farm is
Yep.
another good one. That one came out this year. That's a newer one back in September.
I'm trying to get my
Ooblets,
partner to play it. I bought it, and she
you
has
bought
not
it.
played it yet. I
Have you played it?
I have not played it. No, I gave her one of my 6 Switches to play it on, and she has not done it yet.
Fae Farm is fun, and the soundtrack. A lot of these have to do with usually have good soundtracks as well. Fae Farm is a really good soundtrack. Cozy Grove is too. Ooblets is another one that's
That one's fun. That's
decently
like a dance.
fun.
I love the. It's like
Yeah,
dance battles.
it's dance battles and it's also like cards. Like you're using cards to like to do the moves. Like it's all card based. Um, so
Another
it's
farming
it
sim.
Yeah, it's also farming. You're growing ooblets to have more to your team, and you're growing crops and things. Everything has a silly name. All the characters move kind of funny, and it's just so cute.
It's kind of like Pokemon too.
Yeah. I actually had Pokemon on my list, but more so Legends Arceus.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The music in that game is really great.
Except for the final battle. Oh, that is not easy.
Listen, it doesn't have to be easy for it to be cozy,
Okay.
okay?
Okay. I'm learning something. I don't know. There's
Mhm.
a lot of mixed messaging in here.
I would call that one more of a tier 2, like Pokemon. Like there is a little bit of battling, not necessarily in the way of, I don't know, like hurting anything. Like they faint, okay? Um, but there is a little bit of, ooh, wipe the sweat off my brow type of thing. A lot of the
Mhm.
ones I have in my tier 1, I would say, are not that way. A short hike I did have on my list.
Great game.
Some good. There's also like good like co-op ones, like Blanc, I would call is a nice cozy game. I don't know if y'all have played that one, the one with the deer and the little wolf. It's all black and white scale, and you play it couch co-op with someone to actually like play the game. You have to play it with someone. Untitled Goose Game, I would also call.
Oh, wait, hold up. I'm sorry. I love Untitled Goose Game, but
Yeah.
that goose is not cozy. That goose is
It,
a little
okay, come on. You can't tell me you didn't have no cozy evening, laughing, just messing with the villagers. Come on. There's no
oh, I
stress on you. You're stressing everyone else out.
I guess so. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then like the piano keys that
Yeah.
happen as you're moving the goose
It's
is really
almost like
nice.
you have a live like pianist like playing as you're like
Yeah.
doing like it flows so well. And like my husband and I were able to play it together and like not argue,
Mhm.
which doesn't always happen. So like games like that, like Untitled Goose Game Blanc, that are like
Yeah.
easy and just fun. You can sit on a couch, cozy together and play it. I would count it as a cozy game.
So you have mentioned like a couple of couch co-op games
Hmm.
and that some cozy games are puzzle games.
Yeah.
Would you count Portal 2 as a cozy game?
I had Portal on my tier 2
Really?
list. Yes. I played Portal
Okay.
1 and 2 on Switch.
Yeah.
I would count those as cozy games. I also played a game which is very similar, called Super Liminal as well.
Oh, that one stressed me out. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
Yeah.
I
I
play that
th-
game at least every year since I got it, if not once or twice a year.
I think it's a really cool game, but then it gets to a part that it kind of takes a turn where you
Yeah.
didn't expect it to go, and that part kind of I guess it threw me off. If I was
Hmm.
cozy, then it gets to that section and I'm like, "Ooh, I don't know about this." Like I get the story that they're trying to tell and it works really well,
Hmm.
but because it kind of takes that left turn, it's a little unsettling.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's a game that I can handle, because it's like
Mhm.
it kind of hints that it might be more sinister than
Mhm.
you think, or like, oh my God, like am I about to come across, an undead or someone in this room or whatever, and this door closes really fast and you don't see
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, you think it's gonna be something else, and then it turns to be not as wild as you thought it was. But I
Right.
don't know. I like that's a game that I come to a lot, and I had a few more creepy style games on my list as well. So, Cult of the Lamb was one on my list.
I don't know
Mhm.
if that's cozy. I don't agree.
This is tier 2. This is one that not everyone will agree with. There's farming in it.
But there's dungeons.
There's cutesy little animals. There's the music's really great. But you can change the difficulty down quite a bit as well. Like if you wanted to. You don't have to make it as difficult as it is.
I
I mean,
still
I
need to
wasn't
play it. I own it,
It's so
and
good.
I feel like I've just been like like scared to play it for some reason.
It's not like I'm
I
a
think
big
my mom's gonna come to my house and be like, "You worshiping the devil?
Why
What are
are
you
you
doing?
sacrificing all these cute little characters?
listen, I was
What?
raised in
What?
a
You're in
Church
a
of
cult?"
Christ. I was raised in a Church of Christ household. Like, my parents would not be thrilled, but like, who cares?
See, I thought that was going in a different conversation.
No,
Yeah, all right.
Like
yeah.
that actually happened to you. Like they saw you playing
Right.
Cult of the Lamb, and they're like, "Don't talk to us ever again."
They know what I do on the internet. They haven't made me leave the family yet, so I think it's fine.
Well,
And I've
because
played.
I'm living in sin. Now that maybe we shouldn't talk about that in this, but I'm living in sin.
I was right
So
there with you, Johnny. I was right there. I've had those conversations. My husband and I have not always been married. Okay.
well,
I'm
because you
right there
brought up
with
like
you.
guts and gore because
Yeah.
of Cult of the Lamb. It's cutesy violence, I guess.
Yeah.
Flea in the Discord said, I can understand what John Ebo is going for when he says that any game that gets you into a cozy mood is a cozy game. But I have to disagree with that. Suppose, for example, that someone is deathly afraid of flying or heights. If playing Flight Simulator fills them with inexplicable dread, does that make Flight Simulator a horror game? Or say someone is a tremendous sicko and gets some calm pleasure out of melting flesh and ripping out spines and cutting heads off and splitting people in half with all the blood and gore. Does that make Mortal Kombat a cozy game?
I think he's telling on himself, or I think they're telling on themselves here.
Need to check on that person, by the way. I think, for one, the
Mhm.
first bit, the flight simulator, like, would that, for that person, I would call that, yeah, that would be their version of a horror game because they're scared of it. Duh.
Mhm.
I feel like that's very, like, if I was actually scared of heights or, maybe spiders and there's something that has a lot of spiders in it, then I obviously would, for one, I probably wouldn't purchase that game unless I just want to be a masochist and just, torture myself. Let's go ahead and do that right now.
Mm.
But I think that would be their version of a horror game. I think that's pretty valid in that way. And the same goes with me playing, I don't know, the game Inside and thinking of it being cozy for me.
Yeah, I can see that. But I mean, there is a general consensus as to what a cozy game is. Like, I wouldn't consider Mortal Kombat in any
No.
sense a cozy game. I mean, there's fighting in it. There's you know gore and just mature themes. I don't know. Nobody would look at Mortal Kombat and be like, yeah, that's a cozy game.
I think I think for something to be cozy, it's more of a I like this game type of thing. So like it's all in the eye of the beholder. So somebody who maybe is really good at Mortal Kombat, has played the game like however many times through, maybe has played the story through 1,000 times, and is almost desensitized to something like that. Maybe that is their winding down game before they go to sleep and is their version of a cozy game. I played Superliminal through so many different times that the theming and like the mind bending puzzles in that game are not something I really think about now. Like I'm sure obviously my first playthrough, I was like, whoa. I was kind of like cheesy. I was like, whoa, where are we going with this? Is this darker than I thought it was going to be? Like I thought this was just a mind-bending perspective type puzzle game, similar to Portal. But the more I play it, it's like I can play this game in an hour. I can beat it in an hour. And it's almost like what do I have the time for right now before I do X, Y, Z or whatever. And if it's before I go to bed, I only have an hour or only have an hour and a half. Maybe Superliminal is my game of choice. Maybe Little Misfortune, which is dark theming, but it's more of just a story game, is my choice before I go to sleep. Like I'm not having nightmares in the middle of the night. I've played these games so many different times now that I'm desensitized to it. So that's what makes it more cozy for me. Obviously, the first time I play it, it's not the case. But they've kind of been added to my version of cozy because I've played them through so many different times that it's almost like rewatching a show, rewatching a movie. There's certain things you can throw on the TV and fall asleep to and not be upset that you've missed the main plot because you've seen it so many times. It's the same thing with that for me. But
So
that's
little nightmares.
I have that on my list. It was kind of more at the bottom. It's only because I haven't finished the game that I don't know if I would necessarily call it cozy, but like there's no, at least to the part that I've seen, there's no battling. You're just having to sneak, you're trying to hide, you have to be very calculated with certain things, especially to get across the room without being seen or heard.
Mm-hmm.
You have to time things. Like I think it kind of resembles that puzzle aspect. So I would call puzzle games very cozy because it's more thinking versus battles, I guess.
That was
So
that was
I
a
would put that in that bucket. But it does have more of obviously a darker, scarier theme than most puzzle games.
that was
Well,
the
Johnny,
debate that was going on in the Discord this week. Is a puzzle game cozy?
Mhm.
And I do think a lot of them can be considered cozy. I know there are times where trying to solve a puzzle can be pretty stressful, but
It's all in the eye of the beholder. And y'all mentioned A Little to the Left last week.
Mhm.
And I have that on my list because for me, organizing puzzle games like that is cozy. But for somebody who is not as good at puzzle games or doesn't understand how to solve something,
Or
then that's more,
organization.
yeah, or or hates, organizing. Maybe they just are like, I don't want to clean my room. Like, why would I want to clean this
Yeah,
drawer?
I know where everything is because I haven't cleaned it.
To me, it's satisfying. It's like, oh, that spoon fits just perfectly in this little pin in this drawer
Mhm.
in this game. Man, that's so satisfying. Like, and that's what makes it cozy for me versus somebody else sees a whole drawer full of stuff and just throws it around, doesn't understand how to solve it. It's more stressful for them. Like I know a cozy gamer who she streamed A Little to the Left and she was more stressed out than chill. Whereas would be playing and I think I maybe have 8 more puzzles in A Little to the Left that I haven't 100% completed because some of them have more than one solution.
Mm.
Um, and so there's like a handful of ones that I haven't fully completed. So that shows how much that I enjoyed it and was an easy, chill game for me to play versus somebody else who sees that and just their brain just goes into chaos.
So, have you played Dredge?
I played the demo of Dredge and I loved that game. The music was
I
great. It had that dark undertone that I feel like some games like with a dark undertone usually vibe with me and it's probably because my love of Halloween. I think that's another thing too to give some background on myself. Halloween's always been my favorite holiday. So I think that says a lot about my games of choice on some of my tier twos. Um, but Dredge was so good. Like play the demo on Switch, y'all, if you haven't. I definitely highly recommend.
so when we were talking about it, I'm like, I want to play this game. I don't do demos. Like I don't know why I have this weird thing. I think the save data carries over, but I just have this weird thing. Like I don't want to redo the same thing,
Hmm.
especially the beginning of a game, which is typically slow, and I get bored real fast. But I bought Dredge, and it is. I don't think it's cozy. I don't know. It's stressful. There is a time management aspect of it, which I think this might just be a personal thing. That always stresses me out. And Pikmin,
Mm.
and that's why I don't like Majora's Mask because of the time management. Um, so there, it has an in-game clock where you could see the time ticking, and it's like faster than normal. Like it's not
Mhm.
like 1 second isn't a second. It's like whenever you move your boat, it's a
Hmm.
fishing simulator. I would say. I don't know.
Yeah, in a way. It's got a dark story. It's basically a fishing sim. You do eventually catch some more scary looking fish, and it starts getting a little weird after a while. Um, but I think that's the other thing too. Like it all comes back to your comfortability and like what are you comfortable with, which comfort, cozy, they kind of go together. Um, So time management is another thing that some people do struggle with. Like and not every game has the same time frame. So like something like Story Seasons of Wonderful Life, I thought those days were very long. I was like, okay, I've got my tasks done like so fast. Like why is it only noon? I have nothing else to do. I've talked to every villager already. Like there's nothing else to do in this game. Whereas something like Fae Farm, the days go by super quick and I felt like I was running out of time. It all depends on the game and it all depends on your comfort level. And some people struggle more so with time management. I will say there was a little bit of stressful moments from playing Dredge, and that there's some creatures in there that once you get what's it called? If you don't do certain things or sleep, you start to go a little bit wild in the brain, and so you start seeing things in the game, like actually like things start popping up, and it makes it more scary. And so me being a very careful gamer, I'm like, okay, it's bedtime. Like I am headed to the port. I am sleeping. I'm not chancing it because the few times that I did, I saw a terrifying creature that I had to book it from, and I was not about to deal with that. Like I'm a baby when it comes to those things. So I play definitely on the more careful side, but once I hit the zone of like what's comfortable for me playing it, I was just in it. And it got to the end of the demo and I wanted more, which is a rarity for me. That doesn't always happen.
So I do want to say, like, I think it's really cool that you brought up that right now is kind of the movement for cozy games, or is kind of a new thing. I mean, there's even the cozy direct. Is that what it's called? We were trying to remember what it
The
was.
wholesome direct, yeah.
Wholesome direct. That's what it is. So right now there's this big movement for cozy games and for especially for female players playing video games. That's really cool. Are you afraid of the word cozy being overused? And like just kind of the way that we're talking right now, it seems like anything could be a cozy game. So if it gets overused or if it's used out of context or isn't used correctly, like is that something that you fear of there being maybe too much?
I don't see a world where somebody uses cozy incorrectly because it's all based on their experience and what they enjoy
Hmm.
of what they define as cozy. Like I'm not going to challenge somebody when they say, I don't know, maybe Metroid Dread is their cozy game. Like I'm not going to challenge them and say, "Oh, but blah 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 blah." Like if they truly enjoy it and they are feeling cozy in the moments that they're playing that game, then go
Hmm.
off, King. You do you. Like that's
Yeah.
I'm happy for you. I don't think you can overuse the word cozy. And I think those that really fully define it, like I feel like there's no true way to define it. It's truly you as your own personal thing. And I like that it's being used more and I want it to be used more because I want it to be um more available for people to use, even more males like saying that they love cozy games and them
Mhm.
defining what that is for them. Like I want to see that more. Like it doesn't
Mhm.
have to be just us. I want more people to use it and it be more of a I don't even know if you can say it be a more defined term because I don't think there is a way to fully define it. I'm sure there will be people that define it in their own way, but that's
Mhm.
based on their experience. That's kind of why I said with me loving Halloween, some of mine are more darker themed, but that's just me. Somebody else might hate Halloween or loves Christmas, and so maybe one of their cozy games is the newest Outright Games Grinch game that came out, which I also
Mhm.
have. I just haven't played it yet. Um, Maybe that's their game of choice and that's their cozy game. Or maybe they only play platformers and that's their cozy game. Maybe Hollow Knight is theirs. That's more of a difficult game for me. Like it can be cozy at points for Hollow
Mhm.
Knight, but I get so flustered in that game and Celeste too. Like these are games
Yeah.
that I'm trying to play to get good at games, whatever that means.
I mean,
Um
your section on YouTube or your playlist
yeah,
that you have,
cozy to
uh,
pro. Mhm.
yeah, that's I don't know. I mean, I really enjoy that
Mhm.
that content that you make,
Oh
but
man, you just enjoy my pain. Like I'm just, ugh.
Are you doing the B side of Celeste, or you just
I haven't played Celeste all the way through at all.
okay?
So
Okay.
I'm almost where I left off, or where I last recorded. I haven't even edited the video together yet because I'm still gonna finish that series. I'm playing 3 games at once, so I wouldn't feel overwhelmed by any of them. So Celeste, Hollow Knight, and Death's Door. It's those 3 that I'm working through. They're all difficult in their own ways. I would say right now, Death's Door is probably the easier of the 2. Celeste is the most difficult because I'm not good at platformers, but I want to get better at it. And so I figured I would challenge myself to some games that are just more difficult for me. And I get frustrated so easily that I made it into a series and forced myself to record myself playing. Otherwise, I would never play these games. But those, I don't know. Like, this is my first Celeste playthrough. I'm at chapter 3 in that one right now.
Oh, nice.
That is a difficult platformer. Just in like that's one of the more I think precise platforming games. I would think that's a lot. I think it's more challenging than like Mario.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I've died. Gosh, I should have had a die counter since day like 1 of playing that game. It would be in the thousands by this point.
So I think the biggest thing that we have learned from this conversation, even when we were talking about it last week, we were kind of going back and forth on like what is cozy, and the fear that I have right now, and just even listening to what you have to say, is that it could get to a point where people are gatekeeping the word cozy and what is defined cozy. And I don't know, like, sorry, I thought we lost you there for a second. You froze. So,
froze a
but
little
we're
bit.
good.
back.
We're good.
I'm back.
Yeah, I guess I'm afraid that people are going to start gatekeeping what cozy is because it's not a defined genre like a platformer or a shooter or a roguelike or something like that.
I think you're going to have gatekeeping in anything.
Yeah.
That's always going to happen. I'm always on the side of why keep people from doing what they want to do or enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, if they want to be a part of this and they have their own definition of it, then that's completely fine. But there's just no way we're going to keep people from gatekeeping what their version of quote unquote cozy is, because there's going to be those that define it a certain way. I would argue they're defining it for themselves, not necessarily as a collective. They might have a lot of friends that also define it very similar, but that's why they're friends. They enjoy similar games. I think that's kind of how friends end up being friends, you know?
Yeah.
One friend can find another that has similar opinions on stuff. But for me, like, I don't ever want to gatekeep it. And there's a lot of there's a few cozy gamers that I follow and watch their YouTube content specifically because they have such a wide range of games. There's some that have more defined genres that they play, but then there's others that will play like a Bayonetta game, or I had a Bayonetta, Cereza, and the Lost Demon on my list as a possible tier 2 because it's not like the usual Bayonetta games. And like Xenoblade Chronicles would be somebody else's cozy game because of they can put so many hours into it and they just love the soundtrack for what is really good. But they put all this like love and just so much time in something that they define it as cozy. So it's going to happen regardless, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I hope not, but it'll happen. Just like somebody's always got to ruin something, you know?
Yeah, unfortunately. But I don't know. I mean, I hope that we continue to see it to grow. And I mean, I think we are, especially with how well the Switch was received and that it is a handheld. And a lot of people can play on the go or in their bed or, watching TV, but they can still play a game. Like, I think that helps as well for something to be a cozy game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If I can watch Gilmore Girls and play something on the couch at the same time, oh, yeah. Favorite night ever.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, consider the Switch handheld, and they're like, "Oh, you probably never go outside." I'm like, "No, I never go outside. I play on the couch." or in my
Mhm.
bed. That's how I use handheld mode. I don't necessarily take it anywhere.
Mhm.
I've maybe
Just
taken it twice to places, but no, I'm just here, a lump on the couch, being a
I've
couch
taken it
potato.
several times onto a plane and I've never played it. Like I always think, yeah, this will be a good game for the plane, and then I end up like watching a movie or
You tried
something.
being that one guy in the Nintendo commercial.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I
Can't do
played
it. I'm
uh
Sorry.
I'm not that cool.
I played Sonic Frontiers on a plane,
Hmm.
and it was like a 2-hour flight, and it was like the first boss fight in that game, and it took me the whole 2 hours to beat this stupid boss fight because I didn't understand what it wanted me to do, and now I can't play that game ever because it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. It wasted my whole flight on one boss.
Wow.
Yeah.
Spoken like a real Mario fan.
Well, so, yeah. I mean, there are no such things as good Sonic games, so
Sonic stresses me out, so I would not count Sonic as a cozy game for me. I played the demo of the latest Sonic game, and I was like, nope, nope,
yeah,
I'm good.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I this probably is bias coming out, but I don't get the hype for Sonic. I just don't understand it. I did
It
want
moves
to,
too fast.
but it moves too fast. But then it wants you to explore. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why they would do it that way. I don't know. So I did want to shout out some people that left comments because I mean they all pretty much say the same thing. Well, similar thing. They're just describing what a cozy game to them is. No Less Guy says cozy in my books is a game where you can't lose. Gotham says a cozy game is any game that gets your mind off the stresses of life and puts you in a warm, happy place. I agree. The
Hmm.
Jailer says Elder Scrolls games are my go-to cozy game. I can see that. You can sink a lot of time, like just sink a lot of
Yeah.
time and zone out in those. And then Jeff Troidvania says cozy games are typically games where the activities that you do aren't super urgent or the game isn't super focused on action. And I on Twitter I was talking to somebody, I forget who it was, but I was talking about how I always try to min max everything. Like I tried to min max Animal Crossing, so I tried to pay off that loan as fast as possible. And going thinking back on it, like yeah, maybe I shouldn't try to min max everything. Even with Dredge, like I'm trying to figure out how to get like the better boats as fast as I can when I should just be like taking it day by day, just catching fish and then getting it as it comes along. But I always feel this urgency, maybe because of the other games that I've played.
I never play anything quickly. My list of games that I've actually finished is very short.
Oh, mine too, but that's for a different reason. I did 100%. See, 100% at Mario in 3 days.
Yeah.
So, Cheesy, did you ever beat that last level?
I think that's all the time that we have.
But yeah, I mean, thanks for everybody commenting. Thanks, Lockleth, for coming on. It was great to hear your perspective. And now I'm just going to call every game that I play cozy.
Clear as
Bloodborne,
mud.
cozy.
Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Lockleth, where can people find you?
Y'all can find me on the internet, I guess, on X, Twitter, Lockleth TWT. It's TWT because Twitter. That's why Twitter will never die. Okay. Lockleth TWT at the end. Or on Instagram at Lockleth. If you want to see Animal Crossing photos, you can go follow me over there. That's where all of those are at. Or on YouTube at Lockleth. And then, of course, as part of Carpool Gaming as well. So follow us on YouTube because I'm on the Nintendo Drive every usual Tuesday. So
Yeah, great people over there, great podcast. We love what you guys do. So thank you for being on and
yeah,
telling us what cozy games are. Just as you were talking, it's a very different sound than what Johnny and I, like, we're pretty
What were you gonna
loud,
say?
I
What were
think.
you gonna say?
I'm just saying that you are very loud and everybody
And
has to
obnoxious.
close their ears when you talk. But then Lockleth comes on and it's just very cozy and just like, I don't know. I just the whole time it was just like a good vibe, and I'm just glad that we were able to get you onto the show.
Yes, thank y'all for inviting me. And I've heard that I should read audiobooks or something. That's what people have told me.
Oh yeah,
So,
I could
don't
hear
know.
that. I could hear that. That's
Yeah, get that bag.
I'm Johnny Bo everywhere. Toward Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, the Nintendo Powercast. What about you, Cheesy?
You can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, CheezyC64, CheezyC64, and the Nintendo Powercast.
Thanks for listening.